and welcome back to the GorillaBiker, and listen to this. Closed road, of course. So, yeah, I love this bike. If you've been keeping up with in my Instagram, I need to adjust my rear brake pedal. My foot doesn't like it at all. Nah, feck it, we'll go the back road. We will. I know I've been on it recently in a video, but I don't care. Yeah, if you've been following along, you know that I had some boo-boos with this bike. They seem to be fixed. I'm not going to speak too soon or anything, but it definitely seems to be all sorted now with the oil. So I will talk about that problem more when we stop, but this video is current, just so everyone knows, and the bike does seem to be fixed, which is very good and has fixed my soul. I'm also going to show you, if you own if you own an alcoholic, please get them help. Alcoholism is no joke, and help is available for those of you who suffer from this disease. Anyway, oh man, I have to say, I absolutely love big V twins now on the road. They're just so much fun. But yeah, basically, if you hadn't been keeping up with my Instagram, the bike vented all of its oil all over my back wheel in like about 1.5 seconds, and also sprayed Grant with copious amounts of oil recently, and no one could kind of really tell me a good reason for it, but basically I got the parts to fix it and put it all back together, had it running on its paddock stand in the shed, and I noticed that the oil line that it blew off was like swelling and looked under pressure. Now I put much stronger clamps on there because I never ever wanted to happen again, because I like being alive, to be honest. So that's kind of a key feature, is, you know, keeping the oil inside the engine, which is also a bit of a design flaw on this system, if you ask me. And I suppose no one is really asking me, but still, I'm going to tell you anyway. I suppose that's why this channel exists. Yeah, but basically the oil kind of exploded, vented all over Grant. I kind of noticed a slippiness on my left foot, didn't notice the first one immediately, and yes, this happened more than once. And Graham, on two wheels of Graham, noticed in front of me and called a halt to it. As soon as he kind of flagged there was something wrong, I noticed there was smoke in my rear mirror, and realised pretty quickly it was my bike. You know, kill switch myself, key off, clutched, and just kind of rolled to a stop very, very gently with the back wheel slipping everywhere. It was very, very slippy, but thankfully it did pop off at a kind of a slower speed section, so it wasn't too bad. It wasn't as bad as it most certainly could have been if it had happened 20 minutes earlier when we were up in the mountains having fun, because that would have ended terribly. Without a shadow of a doubt, I would have been having a very, very bad day, and the guys who were with me probably would have had bad days too. So like, the good thing is it doesn't seem to have been like a maintenance issue or anything. I'll put a picture on screen what it was, but basically there is a kind of a vent on the tank. It being a dry sump system, it does kind of create vacuum, and, you know, basically creates a pressure, air pressure, and that wasn't being vented because that vent was blocked with the little piece of what looks like nitrile rubber glove on the screen. I sound like a crazy person, but it is a lot of fun. But yeah, so that was basically the crux of the problem. As soon as I removed that, cleaned everything up, obviously, refilled it with oil, proper good oil, Motul 15W50 or whatever it is, the one that's specified for this bike on their website. That's what I got. And also a brand new oil filter. I did everything, checked the little magnetic plug, the whole lot. I didn't really make videos on it because obviously, if you've been watching the channel, you know that I recently had the dreaded plague, which I won't name because I think YouTube still like soft banned you for saying it, but anyway. So I had that, and I still wasn't really feeling 100%, so I just kind of was, oh, that was a big stone that I kit. I was just kind of, you know, working on my bikes, getting this one going, tipping away on other bits and pieces. You know, I serviced the CBF as well, but I feel like I'm back 100% now, ready to make many videos for you all again. So if you were kind of like, hey, where's all the videos, amigo? I apologize, and that's where they were. I was just taking a little break to give myself a chance to recover fully, because usually how I do it is you know, I'll record and I'll go out and do all the maintenance bits that need to be done to my bikes anyway, and then I kind of edit late at night, and usually Toaster would be long asleep. I'll get into bed about 3 hours after, and I get up about 5 to 6 hours later for work, generally about 5 hours, and that's my editing time, is late night. So I just didn't have the energy to do it, so that was kind of what affected the amount of videos I'd usually have. So there you go, apologies about that, but unfortunately the plague did get me, so hopefully no more plague. But yeah, I've done lots of other things to this bike, you know, while I had the plague and while I was kind of working away in the background. Nothing that I made a video of, because I've kind of done it all before, so I didn't really feel like there was any point in repeating it. If you watch this video and see all the things that I say I've done, go into like my maintenance playlist, or like search my channel. You will find them, they are there, I promise you. Hello. I still have more parts to fit to this as well, just haven't gotten time, and I will kind of call them out. And if you see this video and want to see any of those particular parts being fitted, please do let me know, and I will do my best to make a video of them when I'm doing them. That of course is no problem whatsoever. I will try my best. This is one of the modifications I made. This is a Fireblade kickstand, and I did notice that the stock one was being super unstable. It was being super unstable, so I looked it up, and lots of people recommended changing to the Fireblade one. So I bought it from CMSNL. I knew the year for the Fireblade, so I bought the correct one and threw it on there. Pretty easy. Other things I've changed is I've changed the rear disc, which has like suffered some corrosion already, which I'm kind of upset about because it's brand new, and so has the front. I'm going to go at them with sandpaper and just clean that up. But they're brand new EBCs. I rebuilt the front calipers just by popping out the pistons and cleaning them, because it's really hard to get Brembo seals. The seals are in good nick anyway, thankfully. I do have new titanium bolts from Race TI to go on here, because those are kind of shitty looking. What else did I do? Fitted new HEL brake lines, and I obviously serviced it, and also all new spark plugs and a new Canon air filter. I bled the clutch. I also do now have an Oberon clutch slave cylinder and braided brake line for there, so if you want to see that, let me know. And a new chain and sprockets. Now I do also have a 44 tooth rear sprocket to go on there, so that's going to happen too. But to show you real quick, this is the oil line that blew off, okay, and this is the little vent here that was completely blocked, that again I'll just show on screen. So I popped off this hose, which is the vent, and yeah, I couldn't see anything, so then I took out the actual fitting, and that rubber piece was like stuck inside the fitting. So all seems to be good now. Hose is good, new clamps are on, no leaks, enough oil. Yeah, I'm happy, and my new chain is as oiled as it will ever probably need to be, so that's also good. But what I was seeing was that pipe I just pointed out to you there. So when the bike, oh, and that's obviously the new kickstand, yeah. When I was running the bike, like so, this was like really under pressure and swelling, and you know, I contacted AP workshops in the UK who are like, you know, some of the kind of recognized experts on Aprilias, and they were like, no, I can't think of anything that it would be other than my brain's gone blank, other than a loose fitting. So it's only when I put it into the shed and did all my bits and noticed that pipe was still swelling. I am the type of person that when I find when a thing happens I really want to dig into it, and I want to find out the actual root cause and then fix that. I want to treat the root cause that I have found, because I never want it to happen again. I want to actually find out what the issue was, if that makes sense. Because too often it's easy to just kind of say, ah, well, you know, I'll fire on new clamps in it. I mean, it probably won't happen again, it's fine, right? I don't think I would have ever been comfortable pushing this bike if I hadn't found that rubber stuck in the little port. Still no swelling, so you see, the system works. But yeah, I know that might sound mad, but I was way happier to actually find the thing. And I was like, oh, well, okay, now my problem is solved. So if you do have that problem, if you have one of your Aprilia V2s vent oil everywhere, check that. And the person who told me to have a look at that is a guy called Peter on one of the Aprilia, oh, doggo, hello. One of the Aprilia Facebook groups. Thank you. I don't know, does he want me to say his second name? I don't think he knows I have a channel. But so I won't mention his second name. But Peter, if you know who you are, thank you so much for pointing me in the right direction. Massive weight off knowing that there was a thing that was actually wrong. Like I said, just hugely important for my own kind of mind parts. And then, yeah, the next things, the reason I'm putting on the Oberon slave cylinder is because I do find that clutch, it's not even that it's too heavy. Never, that will never get old. And that induction noise is fantastic. But yeah, sorry, I need to calm myself a little bit. It's not that I find the clutch too heavy. It does work. It's just that it's not as nice a pull as it could be. And you know, a lot of people recommend Oberon, and I've kind of wanted to try Oberon's parts for a long time. So I took a punt, and if you want to see me fit that, like I said, let me know in the comments, because I'm gonna fit it soon. I have my new HEL braided clutch line, that's going on too. So all in all, it should end up being quite a nice finished system, I hope. Other than that, this is eventually going to make its way up to Dean for Motomax suspension, and he's going to redo the front forks for me. And before you ask, yes, I could absolutely redo the front forks myself, but I need a few tools to do them properly. And by the time I paid for them, to be honest, I have a lot of faith in Dean at this point as well. So it's kind of easier for me to just drop it up to him, let him do the bits, and then I don't have to buy those tools. I might buy them in the future and do it all myself, I'll see. But for now, you need to rebuild them so little, and you know, I'm not going to be doing many other people's bikes or whatever else, so it's just easier to let him do it because he's a talented man. And then also he's going to redo the rear shock for me, which the shock, which I'm definitely never going to buy the bits to do. And then he's going to also put a correct spring on it for me, because this spring, while it's fine, the preload is dialed up to the absolute max, and I just don't think it'll be very good if I do decide to bring this bike up on track. I'd rather have something just a little bit firmer, or not even firmer, but just have that little more adjustment in it. And also, you know, that shock is what, 22 years old, so it could do with a rebuild. And yeah, Dean will be doing those things for me. And then also, yeah, I have a 44 tooth rear sprocket. So stock, this bike is 1641, and I do also have a front. I have a 15 tooth front sprocket. But what happened was I got a chain, and unlike me, I never laid out the old chain beside the new chain on the floor before I put it on. So it turns out I got a 110 link chain instead of the, you know, the standard, I think it's 108 link. So it's a little bit too long, so my adjustment is all the way at the back. So instead I got this really nice 44 tooth gold rear sprocket from AP Workshops. And I mean, also it's 44 teeth. So, you know, supporting the channels who I like by buying a sprocket in honor of them. Not why I bought it at all, but sure, you know, maybe if they see this video, which they won't, cows, they'd be happy enough. One thing that I'm being asked about a lot is the exhausts, and I mean I plan on doing the exhausts. I do eventually, there's just other things that are more important than the exhaust. I mean, the induction noise on this is delicious. So it's not something that's kind of leaping out at me as the must do. Before that, I'd love to put on a Heeltech quick shifter onto this. You know, I have my Heeltech speedo healer already for when I put on that rear sprocket, which I'll probably do tomorrow if I have time, and then that's done as well. And yeah, then we're just looking at the quick shifter and suspension. There's a lot I want to do. Because like I said, this is a bike I want to keep, hopefully for a long time. And yeah, so on the whole like oil thing, look, I know some people might be nervous about it or whatever else, but to be honest, that's just the thing I'm going to check now. I'm going to check that every time I stop. I'm going to check that pipe isn't swelling, because it did take a long time for it to actually work its way off and blow off. So I mean, it's just the thing I'm going to cast an eye over now. I am absolutely enjoying the living daylights out of this bike, so don't let it put you off. You know, I've already put 2,000 kilometers on this thing. I really must do like the first ride review. I mean, a really long first ride review, which someone suggested to call the first impressions, and I think I'm going to steal that and do that, because it's a great idea. I'll do that. But yeah, that's what's kind of coming up for this, is, you know, the couple of extra bits. I'll probably make a video fitting the Oberon slave cylinder, because I feel like that might be one people want to see. I definitely won't make a video fitting the rear sprocket, because like I said, I've done that kind of before. You know, I fitted chain and sprockets to 2 different bikes on the channel. And yeah, definitely 2 different bikes on the channel. So you can go have a look at those ones if you want to see how I do it. The only thing was, this one didn't have the hollow rivet pins. It had solids, and I was a bit confused by that, because I know there's like probably a proper tool to square off the edges and all that. But instead I rang Sean Lynch and I said, Sean, what do I do here? And he said, use your normal squishy tool, because once they deform it all, you're good. So a massive thank you to Sean Lynch. Sean is one of the mechanics who works in Freeman's. Gary and Nicole are also in there, and they're all absolutely sound out. Like, if you're stuck for something, now give them a shout. Tell them I sent you, or you know, maybe don't, because they might tell you to piss off if you tell them I sent you. But yeah, that new kickstand, in fairness, everyone who suggested that, it does hold the bike a lot more solid. It just kicks out further and gives you more of a kind of a triangle. I did notice when this was on kind of like flat and kind of sloped ground, it was nearly falling over on itself, which obviously is not very good, so that was not ideal. But there it is. The beautiful Falco. I have to say, I am really taken with this bike. I love how it looks, I love it sounds, I love how it rides. It's quite comfortable for me because of the really long reach to the bars. The power delivery is lovely. I can't wait to get that 44 tooth rear on there and just see how it feels. All in all, I am over the moon with this. I knew it was going to need some work. Obviously, yes, I would have rathered that the oil pipe did not explode and try to kill me. But the good news is, it's fixed now. And it also oiled my chain for the next 10 years. It never needs to be oiled again. That's a joke. I'm definitely going to oil my chain again. But yeah, that's kind of everything I can think of right now. There's nothing else that jumps out at me that I really want to do. It's all those little bits and pieces, you know, all the little bits and pieces. At some point, I do want to get it resprayed. I have an idea for the color to respray it. I'm not going to tell you yet. But right now, my main thing for this was to get it functionally good so I could enjoy it. I think it's there now. I think functionally it's very good. You know, the couple of extra bits and it'll be even better. But I am delighted. You know, it has its oil now. It has its spark plugs for the next while. The tyre should last me another good bit longer, hopefully. So yeah, all in all, very happy. Some things I'm going to keep an eye on are the rads. There's a little bit of corrosion down the very bottom of the rads, so that might need looking at in, you know, the not so distant future. The clutch feels fine, but I know that's another problem point on these. And I also do have the upgraded wiring for the charging system and starter solenoid coming from AP Workshop, so I'll fit that too. But overall, just kind of going to enjoy riding it, because I've done all the bits, other than, you know, the quick shifter. I do plan on putting a quick shifter on it. Before I do that, I know a lot of people do the GP shift on this bike by putting on the mille shifter. I might look at doing that because this one is wobbly, or I might just fix it by putting in some form of washer in there, like just make a plastic one and cut it up myself or something, or ask someone to machine it, or ask Will in Adaptive to print it. I'll see, I'm not sure. But that's it. This video has probably gone on too long. I've probably talked a lot more about the Aprilia than any expected. I will say, like I said, I've always loved Aprilias. You know, the Tuono V4 is a dream bike of mine. The Orsa V4 would be, but I'm too big for it, so unfortunately that dream is look, it's dead. I can't fit in that bike, so it is what it is. But the Tuono V4, definitely dream bike. Also the mille, the version of this with the mille, that would be a dream bike too, but I have this now. I do like the original Tuono V2 again. This bike, that's another beauty. If I could get one of the special editions on them eventually, I might. But I will say, everyone who always told me that V2s are fantastic for the road, big twins, yeah, you were 100% right. It is a blast on the road. And yeah, hopefully I enjoy it for many more years to come. So that's kind of the update. There was nothing crazily wrong with it. It just was that little blocked breather pipe. So do give it a check on your bike if you own one of these. It is something I'm definitely going to keep an eye on forevermore on this thing, because like I said, I don't want to die. The brakes are fantastic now, and I want to give a shout out to Pat in Freeman's Motorcycles. Pat is the parts guy, and I gave Pat a list of stuff that I wanted for this bike, and he went away and he found all of the bits that he would recommend, like the EBC brake discs and everything else, like the Tsubaki chain, and he was on the money. And Pat honestly, like I just give Pat a thing that I need and he finds the absolute best option every single time, and I literally haven't been let down by him once yet. So shout out to Pat, thank you very, very much. I really do appreciate all the bits you found for me. And most of the work I did to this bike, like all the discs and stuff, I did while I was isolating with the plague, and without it I would have been absolutely going insane, because I don't like not doing things. So also thank you to Toaster for collecting all my parts for me, because yeah, I would have gone mad, which she probably knows. She's probably looking after her own interest there, really, more so than me. But anyway, that's it. So if you've watched, thank you very much for watching. Please do let me know what you think of the Aprilia, what you think of all the changes. If you own one of these, have you done many of the changes that I have done? Yeah, let me know in the comments. I appreciate every single one of them, and I do my best to reply to them all pretty quickly. I'm not always the best at replying to them all really quickly. Emails and etc. I do my best. And yeah, as always, a very special thank you to all of my patrons. If any of you want to see this bike in the flesh, let me know, and we'll try organize something. I know there's a few people who have asked to see it, and I would be more than happy to do a show and tell at some point. So let's see. Anyway, until next time, thank you very much again for watching. Adios. Outro crew. What is the modification that is your favorite on this bike that I've done so far? Personally, I always love the brake lines, but I do love the look of those wavy front discs. I think they're absolutely beautiful. I love them. Yeah, let me know.